With a new year comes a new marathon. What's that marathon for me? Sonic the Hedgehog. I was going to do this back in September, but when it was announced that Sonic Mania and Project Sonic were pushed to 2017, I decided to hold off until the next marathon. With Sonic Mania not too far away, I felt like it was a good opportunity to look back at Sonic's 2D career. So for this marathon, we'll be looking at the main Sonic games 1, 2, CD, 3 and Knuckles, and 4. Yeah, we'll do that one. So, it's time to get started. We'll be looking at the original Genesis version of Sonic the Hedgehog, so let's start with concept and creation. It was April 1990. The video game company Sega wasn't doing so well against its rival Nintendo, who pretty much ruled the video game industry. Sega's Master System couldn't really compete against it, so they set out to create a more powerful console called the Sega Genesis. However, it was severely lacking in games. So it all fell down to 3 people who are the ones credited with the creation of Sonic: Yuji Naka, Noto Oshima, and Hirokazu Yasuhara. Sega wanted a game that could compete with Mario. Back then, mascots were considered very important for video game consoles. Many designs were considered, but ultimately a blue hedgehog was chosen, and he was given the name Sonic the Hedgehog. What's Sonic like? While Mario's characterization has always been kept intentionally flat, Sonic was given attitude. Everything about him made him stand out from Mario. Look at the title screen, he's got a confident smirk on his face, and he's waving his finger like, yeah, what are you gonna do about it? If you wait too long to get moving, he'll tap his foot impatiently. Yeah, don't give me that, you little shit! No other video game character signaled the beginning of the 90s than Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog was released in June 1991 for the Sega Genesis, and it succeeded in what Sega wanted. It sold copies of the Genesis, and the game was critically acclaimed for its speed-based platforming. It's been re-released multiple times. The version I'm looking at for the sake of visual quality is the version included on Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection. So what's the story behind Sonic the Hedgehog? Well, let's look into that next. The plot revolves around this place, South Island. One day, Sonic's animal friends began disappearing, imprisoned inside robots by none other than the nefarious Dr. Ivo Robotnik, or Dr. Eggman as he's more commonly known as nowadays. It does make sense, I mean, he looks like an egg. Robotnik is also searching for the 6 Chaos Emeralds to make him all-powerful. Thus it's up to Sonic to rescue the imprisoned critters and restore peace to South Island. I should also note that in the Sonic 1 comic book, it also established that Dr. Robotnik was once Dr. Ovi Kintobar, but an accident with a bad egg and Sonic running at the speed of sound transformed him into Dr. Robotnik. This is largely not considered canon anymore, but it is interesting. Also, apparently Sonic was going to have a human girlfriend named Madonna. Yeah, they probably dodged a bullet by excluding it. The graphics are crisp and colorful. Everything stands out. Sonic's distinct blue color lets him stand out among the enemies throughout the game. The sprites are animated very well, and the music is just incredible. Just listen to some of these. So let's continue on with the gameplay of Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic's gimmick is that he can run fast. Sure, while Mario could run, Sonic's all about speed. By pressing the directional pad to the right, Sonic will gain speed, allowing him to run. Your main source of attack is jumping. Sonic will roll into a ball and will jump on his robotic foe, which will in turn free the trapped animals. Sometimes that's over a pit, so you basically doom them to die. Nice going. Sonic's control is near perfection. His jumps have the right amount of height. He can skid to a stop if you see something up ahead that you don't like. Sonic is a bit of a glass cannon. He can only take one hit. You see these rings? They are your lifeblood. You need them to be able to take a hit. You get 100 rings and you gain an extra life. Like the coins in Super Mario Bros. If you get hit, you lose all your coins, though they scatter about so it's easy to get some back. Unfortunately, Sonic doesn't really have a recovery if he gets hit. You motherfucker! Pressing up on the D-pad lets Sonic look up. This actually allows you to see if there's any obstacles up ahead, so it's perfect for parts where you have to jump up some platforms to progress. He can also duck, which actually saved my bacon on one occasion. Also, by pressing down while running, Sonic will automatically roll into a ball. This comes in handy for when you're about to run into an enemy that's vulnerable from the front. As for other items, Sonic has access to various power-ups, which he can obtain by hitting these capsules. There's the shield power-up, which affords Sonic an extra hit, the running shoes, which make Sonic go twice as fast. I actually didn't use this that much because in a game where you have to watch for obstacles ahead of you, so I find it useless. He also has an invincibility power-up which is pretty much like the Starman from Super Mario Bros. You can also gain an extra life on occasion. As for obstacles in the levels, you got the usual enemy placements, and the enemies are all varied in design and function. You also gotta look out for spikes and bottomless pits. Sonic also can't survive getting squashed. No matter how many rings you have, you get crushed, you're dead. Oh come on, that was so tight! What really makes this game is the level design. It's all about multiple paths that you can take. For example, you can find a secret path at the bottom of this level, or alternatively, you can go up top to find a way around. It really enhances this game's replayability. You also have springs which Sonic can use to bounce into the air. There was nothing like getting Sonic up to a high speed and firing him off into the skies. It's all about momentum, as you'll need to keep Sonic at a steady speed to be able to get the various slopes and loops that the game throws at you. If Sonic ain't moving fast, well, you ain't going anywhere. There's also checkpoints that allow you to save your progress so that if you die, you'll start from there. These can work to your disadvantage, especially if you're trying to get 50 rings. More on that in a minute. The goal of each level is to get to the end where you run through a goalpost. You have a 10-minute time limit, though each level shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes, tops. If you get 50 rings, a huge ring will appear at the end and you have to jump into it. These take you to the special stages, where Sonic is stuck in ball form and has to move around like so. What's annoying is that the special stage spins and you have no control over it, making it very hard to predict where you're gonna land. See, if you hit those gold rings, you'll leave the stage with nothing. Holy shit, how did I do that? I was literally touching the goalpost! Your goal is to break through to collect the Chaos Emerald. Collecting rings on these stages will also allow you more continues in case you run out of lives. Collecting the Chaos Emeralds doesn't really do anything gameplay-wise, but they're needed if you want to get the best ending. Now I'll talk about each of the zones. There are 7 zones, well 6 really, each with 3 acts, although the third act ends in a boss battle against Robotnik. He's usually pretty easy, so there's not much to say, although each boss does feel different. I'll talk briefly about each level. Green Hill Zone, a classic level. There are so many paths to take, and it really helps you ease into the mechanics of the game for first-time players. Marblezone relies mostly on pushing these blocks onto switches to progress. Also, there's a bit of a focus on platforming through avoiding these lava sections. Spring Valley Zone. This level is all about using slopes and springs, and you get this asshole chasing after you. Oh, wow! Screw you, man! Ha ha ha! Labyrinth Zone. Fuck this level! This introduces underwater mechanics, which is not Sonic's specialty. He can't swim. He moves twice as slow underwater, and you have to collect these bubbles to avoid drowning. Oh, come on. Time's running out. The music's picking up. Give me the bubble. Oh no, I'm out of time! Whoa! Somehow I defied the game and was able to survive. Also, it's factually inaccurate. Hedgehogs are very excellent swimmers in real life. Starlight Zone. This is actually a pretty fun level with multiple paths. You just gotta watch out for some bottomless pits, and these fans can be really annoying. Scrap Brain Zone. It's annoying because enemy placement and design is all over the place. Also, Act 3 is basically just Labyrinth Zone recolored, and that's lazy. Finally, that leads us to the final zone. Final Zone, which is basically just a final battle with Robotnik. It's actually pretty easy. He comes down in pillars to crush you, and you just have to hope you're standing next to the one he's in. The only thing that makes it challenging is that you get no rings. Eventually you'll beat him and he'll try to escape. You can let him escape as it's the honorable thing to do, but So with that, it leads to the ending. Since I got all the Chaos Emeralds, Sonic releases the Chaos Emeralds, which restores the wildlife to South Island. With his mission accomplished, Sonic leaps at the screen in victory. Haha, tough luck, Robotnik. Better luck next time. So that's Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis. It's a classic. It started it all. I really can't sum up this game as anything other than play it. It's worth it. The difficulty is moderate. It starts off fairly easy but gets more challenging as it goes. It's not a very long game. I beat it in about 2 hours. But we're just getting started. With this game's massive success, a sequel was inevitable. Join me next time as we look at Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Thanks for watching. This is RetrospectGreg signing off. Hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more, and take care.